Hello friends, how are you doing? And welcome to another video. It's been a little while since I've done one of these YouTube type videos. I'm kind of dusting off the cobwebs, so please bear with me while I do that. Today I'm gonna be talking about what's in my camera bag. Hopefully it'll help you to make a decision on what a good camera bag is for you. Basically everything you see on this table fits into this Manfrotto backpack here. And it is stuff that is basically essential to my filmmaking. I'm gonna go through things kind of one by one and give you a breakdown of why I have it, why it's in my bag, and why it's an essential item for a video shoot. The first of which it is the color checker video. And this is such a great tool. It's incredibly dirty. These things get used, so I'm not gonna have any shame about things being scuffed up and dirty. These things are very heavily used. And through my research, discovered the importance of having something like this on hand. It helps you to have a consistency and color throughout all your shots, especially if you're working with natural lighting. The lighting is changing constantly, and this is just making sure that you have a consistency through your images. So on one side we have a gray card which helps to check the white balance, and on the other side we have color checking items to get skin tones right and to get other color things right. So this is the first thing that goes in the bag, and there's just a nice little spot for it, basically right in there, that way it stays flat. The next item that goes into my bag is my Ninja V. This is made by Atomos, and I'm actually using it as my monitor for this video right now. So really I'm just kind of showing you the box, which there's nothing in it because I'm using it. But I did make another video of a rig rundown, and so I will put the description in the link below, or I will also post it here if that's still a thing. And so obviously the Ninja V is the first thing that goes in my camera bag after the color checker. And then the next thing, I got a Tilta follow focus, and these things are great. Depending on the project, I'll use this or not. Sometimes it's a little bit of a hassle to switch lenses in and out and to make sure the gears are working. When this thing is operational and I can take my time to change lenses and to make sure that I'm really getting this thing going, this thing is an incredible tool. So that is the next thing that goes in the bag. Interestingly enough, I always put this in last, but it actually should go in first. And this is a Manfrotto Tripod. There's nothing too special about it. It's just a really great, sturdy little tripod for the size. It's a great travel size. It breaks down to be pretty small. I don't use it a ton, but it's definitely gotten me out of a few jams. Squeeze that in real quick now after the fact. Actually, it went in a little easier than I thought it would. So that's that. It's got little straps to kind of tie it down, which is great. Another thing I want to point out, as you're noticing here, this bag sits up straight, and that is a huge deal breaker for me with anything that's carrying gear or audio equipment, is if the bag is toppling over all the time. So that's something to really bear in mind here with this Manfrotto bag, is it does a great job of keeping its center of gravity, which makes it really easy to just set it down and to do your thing and not have to worry about it toppling over. The next thing here that is an essential item is, I believe this is the VideoMic Pro, if I'm not mistaken. This is the version with that does take a battery. I know there is a version above this that is powered by the camera, or it powers on and off with the camera. I don't have that mic. That would be a great function to have because I burn through batteries in this thing all the time by not turning it off. This microphone has a really nice flat response, and it's a wonderful for a scratch microphone. So I believe that is the next thing that goes in. This is a top handle, and again, I did another video with a rig rundown, so you'll kind of see how everything works. But essentially, this slides on the top of my camera cage, and the monitor sits here, and then I also now have this little extra rail here to put my Tilta autofocus on. I'll put a link in the description to all these items. I'm kind of just quickly going through it, so. The next thing on my list, and this is an upgrade, I got a grant to make a mini documentary recently, and the first thing I bought were these Rode Wireless Go 2s. These are an incredible tool. Basically how it works is you slap this on your camera in a cold shoe or however you want to mount it. You turn it on and you now have access to 2 microphones. Each one of these units has a microphone built in it. And so you can turn these on. So I now have power. Test, test, 1, 2. So yeah, so I'm talking to mic 2, mic 1, hello, check, check, 1, 2, test, test. Yeah, so this is such a great addition because somebody could wear one of these like on their clothing. And another great application for this is you can plug a lav mic into these. Part of shooting my documentary was following around a couple, Samir and Asia, who perform in a hip hop group called The Reminders. I was able to have them both mic'd up and control them wirelessly right to my camera. I did have them on lav mics too to just kind of get the audio nice and crispy, but these are such a wonderful tool. And so these are an essential item I now take on every shoot. So the last item that would go in the main sort of area here in the bag would be my camera, but since I'm using my camera to shoot this video, you're just gonna have to use your imagination. But the camera does fit nice and tight right up top here. It's in a cage, so I feel like it's protected. So that's pretty much the main compartment. So aside from the main compartment, we also have this secondary compartment that's on the front here. And this, I just kind of throw in smaller accessories. For example, some extra batteries. I have step-up rings for my ND filter. And I could also just fit microfiber cloths or anything like that. So that's just for smaller accessories, that little area. I love that it also has an additional little clip area right here. These are my in-ear headphones from Shure, and I generally will clip them there, or I also have my AirPods that I'll clip there, but I think that is a great additional little area to attach items to. Okay, so that's kind of that section there. Oh yeah, and no bag would be complete without the Peter McKinnon Mist Edition ND filter. This thing is great. It allows you to keep the proper shutter speed and to shoot wide open even when it's broad daylight outside, and this is a very great tool to have. You don't necessarily need to buy this one, but I would highly recommend getting an ND filter. I think it just makes everything look a little bit more creamy and cinematic. So that's the Pro Mist filter, and that actually goes in this little front accessory area as well. Main pocket, and we have a little accessory area. So now we get into lenses and cameras. So we have this beautiful extra little area here, which I love for lenses and for other camera accessories. The lenses feel nice and safe in there. So I'll kind of just give you a little breakdown of what I generally carry with me, starting with the Samyang 85mm. This is such a great lens. It is something I purchased online on eBay, and not knowing much about different lenses at the time, it really let me know that I do kind of like longer lenses, especially if I'm like far away from the subject or if I want to get a nice tight, real intimate shot. The 85mm is such a great focal length, and on a crop sensor, what is the equivalent? Okay, so an 85mm on a crop sensor equivalent is around 127mm. So this is a pretty long lens, but I love it. I just think this has such a great vibe. So that's the 85mm. I love this lens. This is definitely a lens that always goes with me on any shoot. So the 85 goes right in there. And the next lens is this beautiful Helios. I love this lens, and this is something, if you spend any time on YouTube, you've probably heard of the Helios. I mean, this is a pretty coveted lens. It is Russian made, based off of early Zeiss glass. Now, I'm not a professional as to what it is. I know I really geeked out and did a lot of research up front, but if you do want to find out exactly what the specs are on this, there's plenty of videos out there that really break this lens down. Great for stills photography as well. Just a wonderful lens. So that's the Helios. So that goes right here. The other thing I always keep on me is a stills camera. This is my very first camera, the A6000. It's so good. It's so classic. It's just it's a workhorse of a camera. I'm obviously biased because Sony was my very first purchase of a digital camera, and I'm sure there's other great things out there, but I just happen to absolutely love this camera, and I just don't leave home without it. If I'm on a film shoot, I still bring it along because there's always some downtime or an opportunity to shoot some stills photo, which is another thing I'm highly interested in. So this is the A6000, and since it's so nice and compact, it fits nice and snug right there. And that brings us to our last item, which is the DJI Mavic Mini. Drones have just come so far. The technology is just incredible. This thing does pretty well. It doesn't shoot 4K, but it does shoot, I think, 2.5K. If I'm remembering correctly. I'll have to double check on that. For its size and for its quality, it's exactly what I need. I'm sure I'm going to eventually need to upgrade this, but for now, this is just such a great unit. And the beauty of it is it just fits right into this little area there. And of course, you can't leave home without the remote. And so that'll just kind of go right in there and snug in there. This thing just stows away like so. And there you have it, friends. All nice and neat and compact. It stands up on its own. This is just such a great backpack. And again, you know, I did a ton of research on backpacks before I got it. Everybody wants the Peter McKinnon backpack. I mean, that would be amazing. That thing is really expensive. And not to say it isn't worth every penny, but this is a little bit more budget friendly, and it just does the job. It just does the job. Can you see? See what I'm saying? Yeah. That's it, friends. That's it for me. We'll see you in the next video. Do all the YouTubey things. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends. All right. Peace. Kind of all over the place. I keep looking at my monitor and not the camera. Can you tell the difference? I'm looking at the monitor, or I'm looking at the camera. Looking at the monitor, looking at the camera. Which do you prefer? That I stare into your soul, or that I look at myself?